deflected. Left side. Hornacek screens across. Malone to the post. Malone stripped by Michael. To the floor, stolen by MJ. Michael a steal. 16 seconds left. Bulls down 1. Michael against Russell. 12 seconds. 11. 10. Jordan a drive. Hangs. Fires. Scores! He scores! The Bulls lead 87-86 with 5 and 2 tenths left. Oh my goodness.
He's unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let me tell you a few things about Neil.
Neil Funk won 10 marker winner.
Sorry, talk about who?
He's not really a mysterious guy.
And we don't want to attribute brilliance too easily.
Everything is grilled cheese and tomato soup. We'll go into a 5-star restaurant. Do you have grilled cheese and tomato soup? What?
But it's Neil's excellence that in a business where most people are saying, look at me, listening to Neil and watching Neil in a broadcast, you get the sense of look at that.
Smith, no. Stripped by Michael. Smith again blocked. Smith again blocked. Smith again the rebound. Finally Horace. I had to Michael. 3 seconds. 2. I had to BJ. He lays it up. He got it. The Bulls win. 95-94.
When I was younger, my relationship with Neil was as any other fan, just listening to him call the games on the radio.
Remember, local TV after the first round defers to the national networks. So if you're a Bulls fan and you want to get the Bulls flavor and the Bulls call, you turn on the radio. And there he was, Neil Funk.
Calling the championship games. That's what I remember, the excitement of us winning it all.
Steve Kerr, got it! You know, John Paxson, bam! Jordan, top of the key, kaboom!
Kaboom. Kaboom.
Ka-ka, kaboom.
I don't know how many times he said that.
Maybe you don't remember, the greatest call in the world. Although ka-ka-ka-boom is awfully good. I think he picked it up in a bar in Syracuse, actually.
In a bar, a friend of mine, when I was at Syracuse, used to do a kind of a fake call.
White again. Come on, give me the hot sauce, Kobe White.
And then use that ka-ka-ka-boom. And it just kind of stuck with me. I was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life, and my wife Renee suggested that maybe I might want to get a job rather than just hanging around a university. My thought wasn't initially that I was going to do play-by-play in games. I just wanted to be involved in broadcasting.
There's different roles, play-by-play and a color broadcaster. A color broadcaster is usually someone who's played the game. Play-by-play is company, a companion to watch the game. Neil is unique in the fact that he's a play-by-play broadcaster who played the game. You would never know that he was an all-city shooting guard in Indianapolis. Got Division I scholarship offers, ends up going to Syracuse, and he makes the team as a walk-on. Most broadcasters, and not to demean anybody in particular, but if they ever played Division I basketball and everyone was all-city, I guarantee you all of their listeners and viewers would know that.
I went from Syracuse down to Danville, Illinois, where I took a job as a sales guy. In those days, in those smaller markets like that, they did a lot of sports, but primarily I was hired to sell time, which I suspect I was not great at unless I was selling sports. But I was doing a lot of high school games, and eventually I ended up doing University of Illinois and some minor league baseball, and one thing led to another.
He had his first interview with the St. Louis Spirits of the ABA. Sends in a tape, ends up in like the final 2. And they call him, you know how it is, a lot of us always get that. Yeah, you were a runner-up. Anyway, so he doesn't get the job. That was his first opportunity. So he's listening to the first Spirits game. And his wife, Renee, says, what'd you think? And he goes, well, I got to say, that guy is pretty good. And I don't feel so bad. Turns out it was Bob Costas. His abilities led him to the top of the profession.
I listened to everything on radio, baseball, football, basketball, boxing, and there were so many guys back in those days that you wanted to kind of emulate, but you also wanted to have your own kind of style. My first job really from Danville was in Philadelphia doing the Sixers game, and ironically enough, I got there just in time for them to sign Julius Erving. They already had a terrific team with Doug Collins and George McGinnis, and they ended up going to the NBA Finals my very first year in the league.
I mean, we're talking about a man who will go into the Hall of Fame one day that came into the league in the mid-'70s when they were broadcasting, not the way we broadcast now. I mean, he was carrying his own equipment. He was working actually with a phone.
The radio station that I was working for determined that they were going to become a rock and roll radio station, so they gave up the rights to the Phillies and the 76ers. So from Philly, I went to Kansas City and spent 5 years doing what was then the Kansas City Omaha Kings and then the Kansas City Kings.
He was working for the Kansas City Kings, and I was working PR, of course, setting up the press table. An usher comes up to me and says, "Hey, there's a guy smoking over there at the scorer's table." So I get up, I go over, and I'm thinking, who's smoking at the scorer's table? It's Neil Funk. So I kind of tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you can't smoke here in the arena." He goes, "Oh, okay," and he stamps out a cigarette on the carpet. I go back to my seat, second quarter, usher comes up to me. The guy's smoking again, and the smoke's blowing up, and the people behind him are kind of frustrated with that. So you got to tell this guy to quit smoking. Go over there, "Neil, you can't smoke." And I was the PR guy. I didn't know Neil, but I knew I had to have him quit. So he kind of smirks a little bit, puts the cigarette out again. Third quarter, this is a true story, he's smoking again. So this time, I go over and I just give him an ashtray.
An old contact in Philadelphia contacts him and say the Sixers are looking for a broadcaster. Would you come back interested? And so he does. That's the year the Sixers end up going to the finals, 82-83. Doc, Moses, one of the great teams of all time. And of course, in 1992, he ends up with the Bulls. So 3 of his first 4 job changes ends up with the teams going to the finals. Now, I don't know if it's exactly because of Neil, but talk about a level of inspiration that players are going to be inspired to a level to get to championship level because Neil showed up. I don't know if that's exactly how it occurred, but it did occur, so it's a fact.
I met him when I was, 25. He was the voice of the New Jersey Nets, and I was producing a talk show in New York City. Clearly, knowing that I did want to do play-by-play, he was somebody that I looked up to because I had heard about his reputation. Treats everybody in his life with kindness and respect, and that's the way he broadcast games. We heard it was Neil Funk. I was 10, 11 years old, and I was a ball boy for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I got to come to the games with my dad, which was really a neat experience when you're 10, 11 years old. And you get to come to the game early with your dad, you get to sit in the locker room, you get to meet all the players, and then you get to work the game, and then I would get to go home with my dad after the game. So I almost felt like part of the team, which was really a neat feeling. What I find really fun now, especially having kids that are teenagers, is when his calls are on social media and Instagram, and I see millions of people are now seeing that.
My wife and I loved Chicago from the minute we got here. It's one of the great, great cities in the world. I had no idea. I knew they were good, and I knew they had a guy named Michael Jordan who was rapidly becoming the best player in the league and kind of the face of the NBA.
3, 2, Michael falls, fires. Yeah! He does it again! The ball's wet. He looks at the crowd. At the buzzer. This crowd is stunned.
But I had no idea that they were going to go on the kind of run through the 90s that they went on.
Just a great part of the organization and a part of a very special era that we all went through together.
The history of this franchise, from championship number 2 through 6, it was all Neil. I mean, that's when Neil's iconic voice really came to life.
I've heard his call on my shot a few times.
Michael, 11 seconds. Across the timeline he comes, goes to Pippen. Pippen runs down the lane, dumps it out to Horace. Paxson for 3. Yeah! Yeah! Hits the 3!
He knew the game and knows the game, and that was able to come through every broadcast he did.
He saved the big calls. He saved the high-intensity calls for what was something that was deserving. He wasn't a hollerer. He didn't get on the air and scream about every play, and then when something big happened and he raised his voice, you knew that something special just happened because he saved it for those moments.
Blocked by Horace. Picked up by Lawrence over. The Bulls win the championship.
I mean, it seemed like every year something happened in the finals that was going to stay with me for forever.
He comes off. I'll be ready. Michael in traffic to Curl. 15-footer.
I don't listen to that clip very often, like maybe once, twice a day.
Skips across, hip in the steal. Got it, saves it to Tony. He runs it again. The Bulls win. They do it. The drive for 5.
All right, the entirety of your relationship as a player now, and what will it be? Meaning, how does it transcend to friendship?
I mean, we're going to be lifelong friends. I mean, this is a bond that will never be broken. It started as a player, you know, when he came here in the early '90s to Jim Durham's place, who I was really close with. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we'd be working together. You have these relationships that you establish as players with the media, and you know, I didn't really consider Neil media. I considered him a friend.
Going on the road, you know, if he wasn't busy, I wasn't busy, you know, we'll have a cocktail together and just chat.
We used to travel with one bus. You know, now teams travel with 2, 3, and 4 buses. So they were a part of the team.
Almost before every game, one of us would come up to the other with some wise-ass comment, and we'd make each other laugh. It was kind of automatic.
Kind of understood where I wanted to go after my career into broadcasting and stuff, so I actually talked to them a lot. And then when John Paxson took the general manager job, they asked me if I wanted to take his spot on the radio. Taught me a lot about broadcasting and what I could do to be better.
I have been paired with some wonderful, wonderful partners, all of whom were part of the fabric and texture of the Bulls organization, beginning with Tom Boerwinkle, all the way through Johnny Kerr and John Paxson, Bill Winnington. All these guys were a huge part of the success that this organization has enjoyed. And then my longest tenured partner is my current partner, Stacey King, who I was fortunate enough to be paired with when I moved from radio to television. He's a funny, funny guy.
This is trouble. Stop it! I want to go higher! That's what I'm talking about right there. That's your point guard, Neil Funk, going upstairs to get that ball. Woo! Was that an elevator? That was an elevator all the way to the top floor, to the penthouse. And that has the crowd on their feet. That's got me excited, Funk. That's what I needed right there.
When we got paired together, he was coming from radio, and he made the smooth transition, which is pretty difficult, you know, because you're calling 2 different games. You know, when you're doing the radio, you have to paint a picture.
There's a fine line between going over the top and you know, calling a straight game, and I think Neil was able to find that balance. Neil's played a great straight man to Stacey over the years.
It's Zach LaVine and the Bulls versus Luka Doncic. Bulls basketball coming up next.
That's a home run. That's a home run. The energy was there. The delivery was perfect.
The great thing about that duo is Stacey truly respects Neil and the history of Neil Funk.
They are universally regarded as probably one of the best teams in pro sports. You know, between Stacey's, you know, colorful views of the game. Basically, Neil is sort of the ultimate point guard. His ability to figure out how to get the best out of his teammate.
Neil allowed me to spread my wings, and some of my, you know, big calls, you know, during my career really should have been Neil's calls.
Rose crosses over the fadeaway. Let me step back and kiss myself. Oh my gosh, it's over.
He will take that last shot. He is not afraid.
Lead pass, Rose.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! Do not do him like that. What are you doing, Dragons? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
He's allowed me to be me, and I think that's what makes the partnership so great. Sometimes I don't think people know how good a sense of humor he is. They think I'm the funny one. He's the straight guy, but he's hilarious.
He doesn't take anything too serious, man.
You know, you talk to him and he'll tell you he knows nothing. But in reality, he knows everything.
He's a master of killing time. You know, he'll find very mundane tasks and be gone for hours to get coffee and then go again to get coffee.
He wouldn't tell you, but he's really a good golfer. And I think because he's so intelligent, he won't tell you because that's how he wins a lot of money playing golf. But he's really good.
Neil is the consummate pro.
He's seen pretty much everything there is to see.
Johnny Most, Boston. Chick Hearn, L.A., and then Neil Funk, Chicago.
He is at the top of his profession He has literally worked with some of the greatest names in sports, but you wouldn't know it by him. He just seems like an unassuming neighbor.
I was working on a book a couple of years ago about the Oscar Robertson suit. I said, well, I was looking for Julius Erving, and I don't have a great relationship with him. He's a great guy, but I didn't know him well. And they said, oh, Neil, yeah, glad to talk to you. It's an incredible level of respect for somebody who not only doesn't go out of his way, but you would never know that Neil knew any of these guys.
Neil was just always humble, and because of that, everybody respected him.
That speaks volumes about the impact he's had in this league for generations.
I've had a chance to witness greatness, not just from the Bulls, but throughout the league. And with the longevity I've had, I've been one of the luckiest guys in the world to watch the league kind of evolve to what it is today. It's time for somebody else to come in. I have loved every minute of this. I hope whoever comes in has as much fun as I had and stays for as long as I did, if not longer.
It's just been a remarkable run. I never thought this day was gonna come. It's like a marriage, You're so used to seeing this person to the left-hand side of you every night, dinner and hanging out and laughing, for every game that we're on the road. I mean, he's family. I kind of get emotional because it's like, he means so much to me. He deserves it. He's a Hall of Famer in my book, always will be, and, love him more than life itself. It's my guy.
Hey, Neil, congratulations on an outstanding career. I'm honored that I got to work with you and be a part of your life and have a friendship with you. You've taught me so much, and I wish you all the best.
Dad, congratulations on an amazing career. I'm really proud to be your son. I'm proud to have been with you and had so many great experiences around your career.
Congratulations to Neil. Renee, I hope that he doesn't drive you crazy, but hopefully you both won't be strangers around the Chicago Bulls. You'll always be part of our family.
The dinners, we'd hit, the steakhouses of cities, and it's never going to be the same not having him around.
We would sit down and talk, laugh for an hour or so before every game. I'm truly going to miss that.
I'm kind of hoping maybe you'll be like Jordan and take a little time off and you'll come back.
Thank you for everything you've done for me personally and professionally. It's all good and it's all from the heart. Thank you.
Like I said one time to Michael Jordan, you rule. Meet you on the first tee.
Enjoy your retirement, man, and play golf.
Neil, this is your partner. We've been as close as anything over the last 12 years. I've known you as a player. I've known you as a friend. I've known you as a broadcaster. It's been an amazing ride, and I always kid you. I said it reminds me of Alan Ladd and Shane at the end of that movie when Shane rides away and little Billy, that's me, little Billy, you're Shane. I yell, don't go, Shane, don't go, Shane. Neil, don't go, please don't go. I'm that little kid in that movie who's seeing you ride into the sunset. I will call you religiously. I know you go to bed at 6 o'clock at night. I will call you religiously and I will harass you every second that you're retired. Believe that. I love you. I will miss you, and it's been a fun ride, and it won't be the same without you. And I keep saying I wasn't gonna do this, but I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best, my man.
It's the people that I'm gonna miss. The fans, the fan reactions, and miss the people who are kind of the heart and soul of the Bulls organization. I certainly want to thank Jerry Reinsdorf and Michael Reinsdorf for the great ride I've had here. And as I've said many times, they don't owe me anything, I owe them. And then the fans, the Chicago fans have been great. They've been so supportive of not just the Bulls, but they've been supportive of me. So I appreciate that, and that's something that certainly will stay with me forever and won't be forgotten.
What's up, Bulls fans? For more videos, click here.